Hi, so I'm going to show you guys how I make chicken and dumplings. I do it a little bit differently each time depending on what I have in the house. Sometimes I use like a whole like chicken or a whole like rotisserie chicken or something, and that's already been cooked. Today I'm using chicken that has not been cooked. It's 2 leg quarters. I've got 3 small onions in there, some garlic cloves, and yeah, I don't even peel them when I'm doing this because I'm basically just making the base, you know, or the stock or the broth, whatever you want to call it. We've got some thyme leaves in there, thyme sprigs, and if you've got other fresh herbs or whatever, throw them in. In this case, I only had thyme and rosemary, and even though I like rosemary with chicken, I wasn't sure if my daughter would want that today, and she expressly wanted chicken and dumplings today. So this is how we start out. And I'm going to pour water over this and cook it for probably about an hour or so. Maybe an hour and a half. The longer you do it, the stronger it'll be. But I'm going to add some chicken base concentrate to it later. And I'll show you that. To strengthen it a little bit because I'm doing like a quick version of chicken and dumplings. So this is how we start. Now I got the water in there. We're going to set it to a boil, and then we're going to turn it down and simmer it for like an hour. So this is what it looked like. It's been simmering for a little over an hour. So I'm going to strain this all out, and then I'm going to show you a little trick. So here's a little trick that I do since I'm doing this like quickly and stuff, is while I'm cooking other things in the broth, so on and so forth, I take the chicken. I got rid of the herb sprigs and onions and garlic and put that in the compost, but this I put in the freezer, and that way when everything else is done, I want to put the chicken in. It'll be super easy for me to do it because it will be cool instead of hot. I've got about 2 cups of chopped potatoes that we're going to put in the broth. The broth is not dirty, that is actually just thyme. So we're going to just put those in there. And they can simmer. All this stuff on the edges, don't even worry about that. That's just gook. As I like to call it. Left over from the thyme and the onions and stuff. And the chicken especially. As you see. That's gonna simmer. And I usually simmer those for about 20 minutes. If you want to put carrots in, fresh carrots, peel and chop them. You can do about 1.5 to 2 cups. And throw them in here at this time as well. And then I would do it for about 30 minutes instead of 20 because carrots tend to take longer to cook than potatoes, in my experience. Now those potatoes have been simmering, and you can see that the broth has reduced quite a bit, and that's okay because we're going to add something to it to make it richer and add more to it. You'll see. But first we're going to add some chopped onions, about 1 cup or 1 large chopped onion, and then I'm going to add some canned carrots. It's just easier for me than chopping fresh carrots and cooking them because I have arthritis, and the less chopping I do, the better. So canned carrots drained. Now I'm going to put in a can of corn drained. And then I'm going to add in some water. Probably about 4 cups. So I've added 4 cups of water. And then I'm going to add this stuff. It's called Better Than Bouillon. And I'm going to add just like a big heaping spoonful of it. And it really gives like the broth even more like chicken flavor. So here's a part. Now you saw the vegetables I put in. You can put in whatever vegetables you want. I often put in frozen peas, but there wasn't any frozen peas at Aldi's. today. I don't know why. I put in some canned corn. You could do frozen corn. You don't have to put corn in. You can put whatever vegetables you want in. Sometimes I add spinach or other greens to it. And often I go through my fridge and see what vegetables might be starting to go, and I chop them up and put them in it. I've got some leftover mashed potatoes, which will actually give it an extra thickness, so I'm going to add those. You can do whatever you want at this point. Okay, so now we're gonna, I turned the heat up a little bit, and we're gonna let that simmer for about another 20 minutes or so that the mushrooms and the onions cook and everything blends sort of well together. Okay, I've added in the chicken. You can see it's looking really good. Now all we got left to do is the dumplings, which is a really simple way to do this. There's lots of different ways. Some people make biscuit mix and drop, you know, pieces of biscuit mix in. I use, or you can find a recipe for dumplings online. I honestly use Bisquick for reals. This is about 2.5 cups of Bisquick mix. About 1/2 cup to 3/4 cup of milk. I sort of do it by eye, so. And about a teaspoon of Italian, you know, seasoning, like this. And I mean, you can, I like to get it to this consistency. You see what it's like? Like, I don't want it to be too soupy or too dry. And you just mix it together, and then you just plop it by like spoonfuls into the, you know, simmering soup. So now you got them dropped in here, and then you're gonna wait about 10 minutes for them to cook, and then check them until they're sort of really floaty when you like touch them with a spoon. So here it is. We got a nice bowl of my chicken and dumplings. Now if you wanted to add more chicken to it, you could, you know, like I said, I often use a cooked rotisserie chicken, and then there's like a whole chicken in there. But this one's a little light on the chicken, but still very delicious. So thanks for watching, and please share, subscribe, give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and don't forget to always be kind, even if your dumplings aren't perfect.